Welcome, everybody. Crawl into your interior cave and listen to the Hermit
and his wife, where we talk spirituality, parenting, Catholicism, inside and out.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are not awake.
Hey, everybody.
You look extremely under awake.
My eyeballs have that
You have swollen eyeball syndrome?
sticky stuff going on.
Eyeball crust?
It's like allergies, but
I know, seasonal allergies. We're going to talk about something fascinating today. Something extremely interesting. Something that will keep you totally riveted the entire 20 minutes.
I'm anxious to hear what we're talking about.
We're going to talk about perseverance, how we persevere, how we overcome not wanting to persevere, what long distance running and long distance sports have taught you about grit and determination, and what to do when you don't have any perseverance left, because I think that's a little bit how we're feeling. You may not be feeling that way. Maybe you are living your best life, quarantine, you are perfected all your baking recipes and your self-care routine, and your eyebrows look amazing, and now that things are starting to open up, you're like ready to bebop it. Are you ready to bebop it, Anthony?
That sounds great, but you talking about grit reminds me of so I ran cross country at Notre Dame my freshman year, and we went down to Nationals. It was down in South Carolina, and they had a Waffle House there, and nobody would go with me to the Waffle House, but I really wanted to eat Waffle House, so I sat down. Waffle House is great. I don't know if you guys live in a state that has waffle. We don't have Waffle House up here.
Are we missing anything?
Anyway, you sit down, they like make it right there and all that stuff, but I wanted grits. So they put some grits down, and it was amazing.
Oh,
it was
grits.
So good. True grit. True grit, John Wayne.
Do they taste good?
Oh, they're so good.
What are they? It's like
I'm not even sure.
It's like a grainy, mealy, like mealy-based, wheaty-based product that's all nyah nyah.
No, it's so good.
I'm a Minnesotan. We don't do grits.
True grit. Or it conjures up images of the old Clint Eastwood. Not like physically old, but like back in the day when he made the spaghetti westerns. He's like chomping on a cigar. He's got his poncho.
I didn't know that this is a fascination for you, this area of cinematography.
The man with no name.
Well, what is grit? What is perseverance? I mean, we have some basis for understanding it. I think everybody's had to persevere in certain ways throughout this crazy time that we're living in, but do you have any, pull out some Aquinas, pull out some scripture. What is perseverance?
Wow. It's like whip it out there.
I'm just putting you right on the spot, Mr. Theologian, Mr. Philosopher.
Well,
what is it?
I think, grit in and of itself. I mean, I guess I'll take. There's two virtues I think that are, well, maybe I guess three virtues that are important. There's patience, and there's long suffering. So patience is when you're enduring something. Usually the connotation is that you're enduring hardship for the sake of some good, so that you're... For
the sake of a good, so you're doing something for the sake of... That's patience.
That's patience. And then long suffering is you're just enduring hardship and going through trials, but it's not even necessarily for, like, at the end of the road. There's, there might not even be an end of the road. It's just...
That's why it's called long suffering?
It's just long.
Long suffering?
Long suffering.
Is that also forbearance? Is that the same thing as forbearance?
Boy, I don't know. We can better get our fat dictionary out. We've got this. I'm an insurance coverage lawyer, so I'm constantly looking up common meanings of things. But I got this dictionary. It's like this big.
It's an enormous dictionary.
It's good.
You could slay someone with that. It's truly a tome.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two. So you said there's patience. Then there's long. So patience is enduring something for the sake of a good that's to come. Long suffering, which is just long suffering with maybe no end in sight. And then what's the third aspect of perseverance here?
Fortitude.
And what's fortitude?
I don't have a good definition right off the top of my head, but I'm going to say willingness to engage in something that is arduous, difficult. That is not a direct St. Thomas Aquinas quote or anything like that, but
Sounded like it. You should have passed that off as Aquinas. Everyone would have believed you.
that's my vague recollection. If you say it in Latin, it sounds official, right? Maybe we should say
What's it in Latin?
Maybe we should say it in Latin. I don't know. No, but I think grit. Grit is it's a nice word. It's sort of one of those maybe harder to define more modern words. But there was a book you had. I don't know when you got it.
Oh, it was a couple years ago. I really liked that.
There's a book about. Was he a researcher?
Yeah, it was like a researcher, social anthropologist, examining what happens when you instill grit and perseverance in children, and how we as people, but especially children, live out lives if that's an element, if that's like a base component to how you handle stuff, and how that changes everything. Like truly everything. Like the most superseding, more important than intelligence and IQ and even like circumstances, socioeconomic class, like all these other factors that look at how people do in life, meaning they're stable, they hold on a job, they poll is relatively happy.
What was the name?
Oh, I'm forgetting the name. We'll find the name, guys, and I'll put it in the link.
Well, the thing that I found very interesting, and I think you'll find this interesting too, is that so this guy, he went and he looked at all sorts of different demographics, and what he really wanted. So he looked at people who had they were successful in their jobs, successful not in the sense of just like financial, but just in the sense of they had stable jobs, who went on to get secondary degrees, postgraduate degrees, who has a successful married life, so to speak. So like a happy married life, and they've stayed married. People who have friends and things like that. And so what he did is he looked at that, and then he went back and he also looked at even kids that are in school right now, like who are the people that are thriving. And the one characteristic that was common throughout all of them, like you said, it wasn't IQ, it wasn't even like financial background of the family or anything like that. It was grit. That was the single most important factor through all of them, literally all of them. So it's such an interesting thing, because so many of us were doing something on a regular basis that it's probably not the most exciting thing in the world.
Insurance coverage isn't exciting?
Well, who doesn't love insurance coverage?
You're the
Reading
only person.
insurance policies and
Only person.
cases and things like that. But I mean, so many of us were doing things that it's just. It might have its own sort of enjoyment or whatever.
But you have to grind it out.
Yeah,
most of life is grinding it out.
You have to show up. You have to make it to the end of the day, and then you have to do it again. And there's beautiful moments and things like that, but it's not necessarily something that makes you want to jump right out and do it. So.
Do you think, though, I wonder about, when I'm feeling like I'm really flagging in my perseverance, and I look at the task in front of me, I look at the mound of laundry that's piled in our bedroom and outside our door. We have 2 clean laundry piles right now that have been
I call
sitting
this
there.
the overflow mode.
It's like so many baskets, we just keep dumping them in front of our bedroom door on this little landing on the second floor, and then take the empty basket back. Like, there's so much, and when I feel like what wells up inside of me isn't necessarily a lack of grit, it's like kind of an ennui, like, bored, like, I have to do this again? Like, okay, I like, in theory, I can suffer, I can persevere, but give me something exciting, Lord. Like, I have to do this again. It's the monotony of running a household. It's the monotony of opening your computer. Even if you're going to do something that's fun or interesting, every project I touch for Blessed Is She, I think, is fun and interesting. But like you said, you still have to show up and do like the detaily stuff, those backlog like projects that I just don't really feel like getting to.
Sometimes I don't want to brush my teeth.
Truly, I know.
Do I have to?
You
After
do.
I brushed all the kids' teeth, I don't want to brush my teeth.
It's like another set of choppers.
It's really embarrassing to say that.
It's true though. And so one of the things that he talked about in this book, and one of the things I think that helps me when I simply don't want to persevere, and it's not even because I'm lacking in self-control, it's because there's no stimulus in my brain, there's no like dopamine hit, there's no exciting thing that gets me to like want to move on to the laundry, and then I want to tackle the kitchen with the dishes again, and the children again who don't want to get dressed. What's with that? Get dressed. Go to the bathroom. What? Go. Anyway, one of the things that he talked about was habituating it, and that when we create habits, and this is like life altering for me, when we create a habit, the neurons are fired and wired. So we don't have to make a decision anymore. Am I gonna wash my face this morning? Oh, I don't really want to wash my face. I guess I should wash my face. Oh my gosh, my skin is aging. Which product am I gonna use? I don't even have any clean towels. I'm not washing my face. Okay, you just spent how many seconds of wasted synaptic energy in your brain thinking like, should I do this thing? Oh, I'm not gonna do this thing, never mind. And instead of like, oh, here's the habit. It's like Velcroed onto my brain. Like, this is what I do. I wake up in the morning, I wash my face, I put on my face oils. Like, I get dressed. I see something on the floor that's dirty, I put it on the laundry chute. Like, to try to habituate some of these things, to take out that lag period of like, oh, I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
That habituation. But then again, I have to like reinvigorate my habits. It's not like you pick a habit, you still go, oh, well, forevermore, I'll just always do this habit. You still have to recommit to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of emotionally exhausting to your poor teeth, my poor face.
You have so much emotions to go around. That's right.
I mean, I have a lot of emotions. You may have a limited amount.
Yeah, no,
you got some of my extra ones.
Yeah, I mean, grit and perseverance, and there's so much to say about it. But there's just to throw it out there. There's I remember reading this article. There's this. He's a former Navy SEAL. His name is Jocko Willink. He does a lot of different talks, and he's written a number of books and things like that. But he talks a lot about habit, and one of his big things is working out, like physically. We have to use our bodies, you know. And modern society is especially geared towards not doing that. You
it's
know,
really sedentary. We sit at a computer. We sit watching TV.
Right.
We sit in our car through a drive-through line.
Yeah.
A lot of sitting.
So his big thing was to do it right in the morning, exercise right in the morning. So he would get up at, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning, and you know, just so he could do his workout. But to your point there of you know, habituating it so that it's, you know, you've already thought it through, you've already committed to it. That was his thing, was if you do it and it's not even a choice, it's like, you know, going out for. So I started doing that a number of years ago, because I wasn't you know, running at night. It was you know, I was too tired, and it was a long day and all that stuff. So I was like, you know, I'm a morning person, so I'll start running in the morning again. Yeah. And so so it wasn't even that you just slip on your shoes before you're even fully awake. You know, you've already got your first mile, and it's great. And no cars have hit you. It's awesome.
I mean, we certainly know no cars have hit you.
Yeah. So,
that's interesting though, because I saw a huge change in you as a person when you're doing that. You're so much happier. You're so much lighter. You're so much more alert. So much more awake, because you had figured out. This is also, you love to do distance running, which I think is even a different form, like along the lines of this grit and perseverance, that long distance sports and long distance endeavors, like you have mental marathons at work, like you have habituated yourself to being able to do things that most of us would really shy away from.
Yeah, I think that our bodies are geared towards. I think everybody's bodies are geared towards a particular activity. Like they find, not only geared towards a particular activity, but you find a particular joy in that activity. Mine happens to be running. Some people like, you know, cycling or swimming or weightlifting or I don't know, whatever it is. But for perseverance, I found that it helped strengthen my will, in that you have to keep going, especially when it's, you know, you're really tired or you're hungry. So like going for a long run, and it's, you know, it's super early on a Saturday morning or something. All I want is to drink some coffee and eat some eggs. But I still have 15 miles to go.
Oh my gosh, 15 miles to go.
But I think that it's training of the will and strengthening of the will, and it's very easy for our wills to become weak and sort of flabby. You know, it's like just not
My will's almost always flabby.
I'm just not gonna do it.
Okay, so then here's the big question that I really want to answer for our friends here, but also for myself, which is, how do we nunc chapey in this area? How do we begin
Nunc chapey is now I begin. Psalm 77, nunc chapey.
Nunc chapey. How do we begin again? Because this is great. We're hearing about like, oh, Anthony's getting up before 30. Nell's trying to habituate washing her face. Like, okay, but how do we begin again? Especially in this bizarro land we've been living in. Maybe some of us have developed some really bad COVID-19 life quarantine habits. How do we like restart and not just feel like we talked about in earlier episodes, so discouraged? You're like, I'm never going to crawl out of this habituation. How do we restart? Restart good mental habits, spiritual habits, emotional habits, physical habits, relational habits. You know?
Yeah.
How do we restart? I want to know.
Think,
tell me. How do we restart?
Well, I think you already said it. Nunc chapey. Now I begin. It's all about. I think it's all about habits. You know, for all of us, it's you have to seize the opportunity, the moment, the day, and you take baby steps.
Little steps.
Little steps.
Something really doable.
What is that? What's that movie with?
Baby steps.
No,
with Bill Murray.
With Bill Murray, and he's the. What about Bob? That's it. What about Bob?
Bob.
Baby steps.
So
baby
funny.
step to the door. He's got all these phobias and everything.
I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just about baby steps. So if you, if you do a particular thing, take an opportunity to go for a walk. I don't know. Do like something that you want to change. Like identify it. Identify what you want to do. Like what do you want to change? How do you want to become stronger? Or grow in a particular area, or like whatever, or you don't like that you've been doing some things. You have to first you've got to identify it, and then you can work towards it. But the way that you flip it, you change it, is that you literally change it. You take that opportunity and move in the direction that you want to go. But it doesn't come all at once. It just you have to repeatedly do
you do
it.
like a mental inventory of all these areas? So.
Yeah.
Mental health. What habits have you gotten into that you want to change? Write it down. I always think negative thoughts first thing in the morning. I find myself constantly, feeling discouraged or feeling whatever, like mental health, spiritual health. I want to be able to pray like all the way to the hours and the rosaries and make spiritual communions all the time, but I find I don't even open my Bible. So what's the one thing? Like say a Hail Mary at the top of the hour, or
read a spiritual book.
Pick a spiritual book.
Yeah.
Slowly read it. And don't let yourself check your phone until you've read a chapter in your spiritual book.
Yeah.
I'm saying these things because I need some of these. Okay.
Are you talking to yourself?
I'm always talking to myself around here. What about physical change? Okay, I want to be super fit and super healthy and shed all the baby weight and make good food choices. So where do you start?
That's right. Sorry, you were talking about like physical thing. I had this like pop-up sponsored thing on, I think it was on LinkedIn, I don't know, whatever. But it was like super shred.
Super shred.
And it was it was really intense. And anyway.
Were you inspired to create new habits, grit and perseverance, just super shred your body?
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Rex Kwon Do.
It's
like from Napoleon Dynamite.
I don't think it was really called super shred. And I'm not trying to put it just. Maybe it was the timing.
Pour super shred out there. It's feeling really badly. So it's one choice. I'm going to substitute out one of my meals instead of having the dessert. I'm going to reach for more baby carrots, and I'm going to walk once a day, even if it's around my backyard. Like, I'm going to do these little things, but to make these relationally, every time I want to say something snipey, I'm going to say I love you instead. Like little tiny steps. Because I feel like it's just this wall of overwhelm. How do I persevere?
Well,
it's just everything is too much.
And I just to throw this out there too, you'll probably find that there's really kind of a big issue that you're sort of you gotta order properly. So for me, and then once you do that,
other things fall in place.
Yeah, you get this momentum and all this stuff, and so because it can be kind of overwhelming. You're like, I gotta deal with this and I gotta deal with that and that and that. So for me, sorry to, it's sort of a, you know, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but for me, like for running, like
That's your one thing.
that's the one thing. So if I'm running properly, then like, you know, doing the extra stuff is it's everything just sort of falls into place. Like, you know, dishes, I gotta do dishes. Like, nope, it's not a big deal. I don't mind doing it. This, that, you know, the other. And so, and for me, because it's just it's really about the strengthening of the will. So you might find that too. Is that like if there's one thing in particular that is I don't know, maybe it's like a physiological thing, but that's like a huge thing. And I think another thing too, like to also put a spiritual component into it too, is that ask God for grace. You know, don't just try to rely on yourself. Like you know, invoke the Lord's blessing upon whatever you're doing. Actually, try to maintain an ongoing conversation with God throughout the day. So, but ask Him for His graces and to help you. And if there's a particular thing, I've also found it very helpful to sort of dedicate something to our Lord or to Our Lady and say, you know, sort of consecrate it to them and say, you know, I'm going to give this to you, you know, and so they'll honor that in a sense and give you the graces that you need. So I would suggest that too, you know, persevere. And then when you sort of, what do they call them, backsliders? So when, you know, if you like take a step back or a couple steps back, or maybe you fall flat on your face, I don't know, like get up again, new Chapey, now I begin. It's okay. You know, it's all about trying to grow in the habit, trying to develop, you know, foster these different virtues and things. And as long as you're above ground and you're breathing.
As long as you're not dead.
You have a chance. You can do it.
You always can make the change that you need.
Yeah, as long as you don't give up. Like don't mentally concede. That's the thing is, you know, that's where the grit comes in. The true grit. You've got to, like, you just like get up, show up, and persevere. That's it. So much of it is mental, and then your will is going to get strengthened if you make these little, you know, these little decisions and perform these little actions. So,
wow, I feel inspired. I'm ready.
Wow.
I'm ready.
There's no sarcasm in there.
No, I'm serious. It's really helpful to say the things aloud that are stuff that we're grappling with and that other people might be grappling with right now too. So thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, new Chapey. Now I begin.
Chapey. All right, friends. We'll see you next time.
That's our shortest one yet.
I know we're really, really doing a good job here. We're trying.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.